What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the More Than Love podcast. I'm your host, Terry Renner.
And I'm your co-host, Jake Babel.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about kissing and telling. We're going to be discussing Brittany Renner's recent tell-all book called Judge This Cover. And I'll be sharing my thoughts on people discussing their sex lives with others publicly or whatnot. But before we get into the topic of the night, which should be real interesting, we like to start off the podcast with a segment that we call Terry's Top 3, where we basically highlight 3 of the most interesting or controversial posts from my Instagram page at Terry Duran. Once we wrap up the Terry's Top 3, we'll be transitioning to a new segment that we have called Terry Tell 'em, where I actually respond to one of the questions that was submitted to our Instagram page, the More Than Love podcast Instagram page. So those of you that would like to have your questions submitted to us in the future, be sure to send a DM so that you can be your question may be selected to get brought up on the podcast. The first post that I wanted to talk about on the Terry's Top 3 was a post that was put. It went viral. It was posted by Shade Room, and it was sent to me by several people. Well, we've talked about this before, Jay. But this is all right. So let me just read the post. It's pretty long, but it says, "Here's my situation. I love her. I promise I do, but she's testing that love. We've been married for 5 years. When we first got married, she weighed about 135 and was gorgeous. Since we got married, she's taken on this whole extra personality. She's gained more than 60 pounds. This extra weight is not attractive to me at all. We are both school teacher administrators, so we get home about 5 in the afternoon. I've expressed to her my concerns about the weight gain, suggested medical attention to see if there's a condition or something, purchased a gym membership, started buying the groceries for the house, and even cooking. Nothing has worked. Now she's complaining that I'm withholding sex, but that's not the case. I just don't like what I see, and it does not stimulate me. I can't get aroused by a woman that complains and makes excuses all day. I don't like the sight of those rolls and extra meat. I love my wife, but I'm not in love in what she has become. I don't like what I see. I don't like what she's become, and I don't know what to do. Communication is not working, and I just can't make myself be attracted to something that's not pleasing to me. What do I do? I want to help her, but I don't know how." Now we've seen situations like this all the time, and he specifically mentioned that communication has not worked. He's taken action. He started doing the grocery shopping. He started doing the cooking. He bought her a membership. Like he's done everything that a reasonable, rational man would expect to do in this situation. And women, their only response is, "You should talk to her about this. You should say this," as if he hasn't expressed clearly enough what the situation is and what needs to be done to solve the problem. Right.
But I mean, what else is he supposed to do in that situation? Hasn't he doesn't seem like he tried everything? So it's like, he's talking about this. What more do you want him to do? He's offered to go to your doctor, get a gym membership, change your diet. All the things that you can was going to losing weight. And we've talked about this, going back to the old show. I think we talked about it quite a few times. I think we even did a topic on something like this.
Right.
I think he took all necessary steps. It sounds like he, wants to make this thing work. That as he said, he loves his wife and wants this thing to work out. But if he's trying things out, it doesn't work. What else? My question would be, what else is he supposed to do?
I don't think there's anything else he can do. He can't force his wife to lose the weight. He can't lock her up and starve her or nothing to that degree. But this is what's so crazy though.
You can lead a horse to water, but can't force the horse to drink it. I think that's what this is here.
Yeah, it's obviously it's a situation that is caused by her, can only be solved by her, is refusing to be solved by her. Yet there are women that are finding blame and fault with the man. There are women. There are women that are accusing the man of not loving his wife. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There are women that are finding fault with this man, despite everything that he's done to try to help his wife and be supportive of her, right? But but this is what is also very interesting about the story. She's doing, not only is she playing the victim, now she's complaining to him about her lack of sexual attraction, as if that's his fault. She's complaining to him about him not being attracted to her fat, obese body. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why ain't she having that same energy towards fixing the problem? Why can't that be converted to effort? Why can't you do something to fix your marriage before it falls apart? Before he ends up finding somebody that he is attracted to fuck. Before he decides to leave the relationship.
Right. Obviously she wasn't that same physical shape that she is now. That's what he was attracted to. That's what he fell in love with.
Right. I mean, so now,
obviously that's the one we want, and you know, he took the pragmatic approach. I highly doubt he just said, "Man, you're fat now. This is not the woman I fell in love with." I don't think it ever sounded like he said that. He said that or was condescending about it or anything.
No, I mean the way that he does not come across as an asshole or some insensitive dude. This dude changed several things in their marriage to try to help his wife get to a point where he at least is attracted to her. This is 60. He says she's over 60 pounds, right? So he's been continuing to have sex with her, continuing to deal with the visual turn-offs or his true feelings for her. He's been doing a lot for somebody to be accusing him of not caring or not wanting the marriage to work or whatever. He's shallow. All these type of negative names and things that are being said about this man, and women are still finding a way for her to, maybe she's depressed, maybe this, like, at what point is it on a woman to do something about her situation? Right. You know what I mean? And so I don't have any suggestions. I can't think of anything else for him to do.
Like I said, he took
I'll take that back.
Took a pragmatic approach.
He could suggest plastic surgery. He could suggest liposuction or cold sculpting or something to that nature. That would be the only other thing that could be done. But
because in this situation, you probably have some people that'll just leave.
Oh yeah, man, people would have been left.
Either that or cheat outside of the relationship, which I don't get the impression that he's doing that here.
No, I don't get the impression that
we don't have
we know what obstacles come down at the end of this street. Situations like this with cheating or a breakup or the person doing something about their situation. Those are the three forks in the road that this course of action is going to lead to. Right. So hopefully,
his actions here would contradict a lot of these negative things that these women that are saying here.
Yeah, I mean, he could have easily left the situation or kicked her to the curb if he didn't love her, if he didn't want it to work. I don't think no man is going to make those type of life changes for somebody he doesn't love. You know what I mean? I say all the time, one of the ways you can tell a man loves a woman is he will deal with or put up with things that he would not deal with or put up with if he did not love you. So a man having to have his sole source of sexual gratification come from a woman he is not attracted to is a very big deal from a male perspective. And that's why it kicks the door open for somebody that he is attracted to give him some head or end up doing something that he probably would have been able to resist had all his communication and effort actually showed some results. But I just wanted to talk about the situation because despite all the effort, despite a man doing everything that women say a man should do and doing everything that by the textbook, a man will still be at fault by a large percentage of women, no matter what he does. And I bet my life that the reaction would be drastically different if this was a man that gained 60 pounds and refused to work out, refused to do anything about it. The commentary would have been a way harsher. It would have been all kind of his fat ass, his lazy ass, this, you know what I'm saying, like that. It would have been no concern with his feelings or how he feels or none of that. The energy would have been completely different had the roles been reversed. So this is another example of a double standard that benefits women that is not the same or not treated equally when if it was a man in that predicament. Let's see, the next post that I wanted to talk about. Now this is something, this is a post that I put up. I'm real big on these cliches and all these phrases that get thrown around. So this is a post that I put up about, it said, the analogy, why would he buy the cow when he's getting the milk for free, does not accurately reflect a casual dating scenario between a man and a woman. It doesn't even make much sense if you really think about it. And there are multiple reasons why this doesn't make any sense, right? But okay, theoretically, back in the days when people weren't having as much casual sex and all that, some people believe that this quote had some relevance, and it meant that a man's not gonna marry a woman if she's already giving him sex or giving him wife benefits or whatever a woman believes that to be. Now, first of all, that's categorically false. That notion is 100% false. Men have always committed to women that they've fucked already. So telling women that if you give him some pussy, there's no need for him to buy the cow, meaning he will never commit to you. That's false. There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing that can guarantee a man will commit to you. But to make a woman think that if she has sex with a man, that prevents a man from committing to her, that's total bullshit, right? And so secondly, there is nothing about a cow and a woman in a dating scenario that are similar. A cow does not get to choose who his farmer is. He does not get to decide if or when his services will be given or stop being given. He can't just decide to leave the situation. There are no rights, no control, no input whatsoever on the behalf of a cow in this analogy. Women get to choose who they give their time, attention, and pussy to. Women get to choose when they leave a relationship. Women are the gatekeepers on if sex happens or not. So portraying this as if a woman's just some innocent cow and a man is just going to if a man's already taking advantage of you, he's never going to give you anything else. Like that is such a victimized perspective. One that is unrealistic and does not represent reality in any way whatsoever. But there are women that will still want to resort to it and act as if there's some relevance to it when it's not. You know what I mean? Like a woman giving a man milk, you're choosing to have sex with him, and you're getting pleasure out the deal too. It's not a cow giving milk to the farmer is a one-sided transaction. And really, technically, it's not even one-sided because the farmer does provide the shelter, food, medical care, etc. So the cow is getting things from the farmer. But the way that this cliche is portrayed is if you're already giving a man the benefits that come with dating you, even when you're getting the benefits that come from dating him, it portrays it in this negative light that you're gonna get fucked over, and that's the part of it that is so annoying. You know what I mean? Like women always throw it around and try to bring it up as if, oh, you're fucking him already, girl. He's never gonna commit or he's never gonna be your man. Like, first of all, smart men are going to make sure that you're sexually compatible before they commit.
Exactly. That's the point I was gonna make. I'm like, most men don't commit. Yeah, I mean, I don't see men commit to a woman that they're not having sex with, they're not hitting it.
Not unless you extremely religious.
You know what? We're not having sex or anything, but I want you to be my girlfriend. Like,
yeah.
We don't really hear that too much.
No, you don't. I mean, unless the dude is like very religious, a pastor, something to that degree. Right. Most regular guys are not about to commit to a woman.
Those are few far between. Those are.
And even a lot of pastors are fucking multiple women and fucking chicks before marriage. Like, let's not act like the church ain't a place where sex is on and popping. You know what I'm saying? Like any entity where men and women congregate and meet and hang around each other regularly is going to result in that type of behavior. You know what I mean? Like, so
a man is going to commit to it based on sexual compatibility.
It's going to be a component.
I mean, that's going to be one of the factors. I'm not saying that's the be all end all there.
Right. It shouldn't be there should never be any one thing that made you decide to get in a relationship with a person. But from a male perspective,
But I mean, the way a lot of these people put it, it's like, oh well, if I had put I had sex with him, and he's not going to commit me, so I should have just not had sex with him.
That's where they automatically look. This is how it goes from a woman deciding to do something. She got horny and she chose to have sex. They usually do it with a hidden agenda or unspoken expectations. I'm having sex with him because I think it's gonna make him fall in love and commit to me. They don't discuss these things. They have the expectation that they want a man to be upfront with them and be transparent with them, but they are not transparent with men about what sex really means to them, what their expectations really are for a man that they're fucking. They pretend that they just wanted to do it and enjoy the sex too, and then expect the man to live up to their expectations that he has no clue about, that he did not agree to live up to. And then when he doesn't, or if he doesn't, the woman can then blame him and play the victim. Now she just wasted her time. Now he just used her. Like, that's what we see. That's the course of action that a very large percentage of women take when it comes to romantic situations that don't go the way that they want them to. That don't end in a happily ever after or a proposal or, you know what I'm saying, like relationship goals, all these things that they want and expect from a sex situation.
Well, a lot of times they date a guy, may or may not be dating a guy, even they have sex with them, and they say, oh well, because there's some put time expectations. Oh, well, I have sex, so he's going to be with the next X amount of months or something, and it's not, and then it's what are we? What is this? And all
you gotta have
all that stuff there.
You definitely about to get hit with the questions. I get it. I know that there can be some uncertainty in dating situations and all that, but the way women go about it and the timeline that they have for it is usually very, very contradictory to the way that the men that they want to be with date and view those things. And that's why it creates such a conflict. It comes off as a major red flag. And so that kind of alienates a lot of women and causes those men to kind of start stiff-arming them from the jump. Like, oh, I've heard these comments before. I know when a woman is pressed for a relationship or desperate to fall in love. And a lot of women seem to think
you don't want to give off that kind of energy, what I'm saying? Because guys will pick, a lot of guys, especially I would say, quality guys are successful. He's gonna pick up on that and say, oh, okay,
yeah,
that's what she's about, and he's probably just gonna charge you to the game. He might try to hit it.
Or he's gonna keep it casual. Or he's just gonna keep it casual. You know, he's gonna keep it casual. And a lot of women will be like, well, why would he have sex with a woman that he knows wants more? And the reason is because he gave her the choice. If I tell you, hey, you can come get this dick if you want it, and you come over and pull your thong to the side and hop on this dick, I'm assuming you wanted to fuck too. And that's how men look at it. They're not looking at it as some, I'm forcing you to do it or taking advantage of you.
At the end of the day, women decide whether or not we're going to have sex or not at the end of the day, because it don't take much for, you know what I'm saying, women's offer the guy 9 times out of 10 is going to take it. You know what I'm saying?
If he's attracted to you.
A woman can, like I said, a woman can go outside and stand in the corner for 20 minutes. There's going to be somebody that's going to try to hit it, or you go to the local nightclub or bar, whatever social setting that you go to, somebody's going to go try to hit it.
Yeah, I mean.
As opposed to a guy going to play, I don't think, you know, he's going to have a bunch of women, you know, saying, hey, you know, I'm trying to fuck after this.
Nah, he won't necessarily get that. He want to
come back to my house or hotel room or.
No, a man won't just get that from standing on the corner unless he's famous or rich or.
I mean, a lot of times he may not even get that going in social settings.
Right. I mean, it's not that direct.
She can. So my point is, you know, when women's going to decide whether or not the guy's going to have sex or not in that situation.
True. I mean, but despite them having the ability to choose when it happens and be in control, they still like to play the victim if things don't go their way. You know what I mean? And that's just what makes it so frustrating to a lot of men.
But you having sex with that person, you are choosing to have sex with that person. You know, you're in that situation with the person that you don't like. You're choosing to be in that situation. For some reason, they don't see it that way, man. I mean, that's why, you know, the fellas feel so good when I call it out and I call it what it is. And I talk about it brutally honest. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with just acknowledging that that's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hypocritical to expect the man to be transparent with you when you're not being transparent with him. Well, in a lot of these situations, they can see that the guy forced them to have sex, so the guy just came with a gun in and said, hey, there's a pull out his head and go fuck me.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of what we're gonna touch on when we get into the topic a little bit later, discussing Brittany's book. But I'll save my thoughts on that until a little bit later. But that you're going into the kind of topic of discussion. Let's get to this last post in the Terry's Top 3. Now, this is a post that was a repost I put up about a year or so ago. It said, my wife named our son after her first love, and I had no idea. And so the caption said, this is my throwaway account because she knows my main account. My son is 5. About 2 days ago, we were out shopping and ran into a high school friend of hers. She was catching up when she told her friend that we had a son. When the old friend asked his name, my wife hesitated, and I told her. She had a strange look on her face, then said, you mean like your ex-boyfriend? Our son's name is very unique to the point that I've never met another person with the same name. Now she refuses to talk to me about it. I feel betrayed and disgusted with her. It's like a switch was flipped in my mind and I just can't look at her the same way. Now, my thoughts on this, I completely understand why he feels the way he does, why his feelings towards her have probably changed forever, right? This woman has created a situation where there is massive doubt about the paternity of a child. Whether that was intended, whether she was hiding it, we don't know. We don't know the facts. What we do know, based off what was written, we know that this woman did not disclose to him that the name was her ex-boyfriend. And we know that she felt some type of way about sharing the name with her friend, right? Because think about it, Jay. If a woman's just out and about and bumps into one of her old friends, somebody she knew from years ago, from before she was a mom, from before she was a mom, right? And you getting caught up. Yeah, girl, we've been married. We live here. We got a kid. My husband work here. What most people are going to show you a picture of their kid. They're going to certainly tell you their child's name, right? So for a woman to pause and just be looking silly when one of her close long-term friends asks her child's name is a very, very, very suspicious behavior. Right?
Yeah. I mean, at that, if there's nothing wrong, she should just be able to say, okay, it's name and not think anything of it.
Right. If it was something innocent, if it was something that was not a big deal, there would be no hesitation whatsoever. I can't think of any situation where I've seen a woman's friend or somebody discussing a child and they withhold the child's name, right?
Right.
So that was a red flag.
That's a glaring tale there to let you know that there's
something. There's more to this story, right?
She's doing something she ain't supposed to be doing.
Then so not only does she doesn't tell her husband that she's naming his son after her ex. She behaves very oddly and very suspicious when her friend asks the name. And now she don't want to discuss it at all. Since when does a married couple resolve an issue just by refusing to discuss? When does an innocent person refuse to discuss an issue? If you are innocent in a situation, you have no problem recollecting the situation or recalling the facts or showing receipts or showing proof. When you refuse to discuss it, that is guilty behavior. Right?
So that's a red flag within itself. I mean,
right.
That just sounds like it's just a scandalous situation of there.
But in my caption, I suggested that he should immediately get a paternity test just to be safe. Just to be safe. I don't know if she cheated with him or not. I don't know none of those things. But I know that there's a possibility that that's the case. I know that if she was fucking her ex or she was pregnant by her ex, it would make this story make a lot more sense.
Right.
That's
the first question here is, why did you name my child
after me? You know what I'm saying?
That would be the first question.
But there were women in the comments that maybe she just liked the name. Like obviously they like the name. He obviously liked the name too, to agree to.
That's not telling us anything here.
It's them trying to take away the blame from the woman for what she did and how foul this behavior was.
But it's not even. But what gets me here is the way she acted about it.
Yeah, it's everything. It's the whole situation in totality. When you just think about the specifics.
Some kind of deceptive behavior going on here.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that she did is indicating guilt. What she's guilty of, we don't know. But it's fucked up to name your husband's only child after your first love. That is messed up. But if that's still what you want to do, you at least gotta be woman enough to discuss it with him. Like, man, I just love this name. Like, it don't mean that. Like, I just love the name. Like, you should be able to explain that to him and let him know. Not have him looking or feel like a damn fool by this just happenstance situation. He said they was out shopping when y'all bumped into the friend. Like, he didn't expect her. And you know what else women were doing? They were blaming the friend. Oh, the friend is shady. Even my wife said that she felt that the friend was shady. I'm like, I disagree with that. I don't think there's anything shady about someone having a natural reaction to something that shocks or surprises them. And I think that any woman that you talk to your girl and you're like, what's good? For real, what's your daughter's name? Or what's your son's name? And you don't tell me, your husband got to say it. And then he say the name of your ex. That's what that indicates to me. So she like, hold on. The only motherfucker I know what that name is the motherfucker you used to fuck with when to me, that's a response out of shock or surprise. That is not some, hey, I'm trying to be childish or petty. I want to hurt her marriage. I don't think that she, between the facial expression and the husband saying the name, I don't think she just automatically jumped into petty mode. You know what I mean? Like that's not a natural progression of thought and behavior to me. So I think her response was shock. And when he said the shit was your ex's name, she was shocked to the 10th power. Because well, damn, is that your husband's son? You know what I'm saying? Like, at least she didn't say that, because I'm pretty sure she thought it. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wouldn't think that? You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't view that part of it as being intentional or being child petty or anything like that. Not at all. But that there were women that were directing the blame to the friend. Oh, her friend's wrong for that. Like, damn. So we just gonna ignore the woman that's the root cause of the scenario. We're gonna ignore the woman that is refusing to talk about it. We're gonna ignore the person that's at fault and point blame to somebody else. Oh, her husband's just sent in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they were doing the most to come to this woman's defense in the situation.
Don't see why. Anything to take accountability away from women here.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. But we're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into our next segment that we call Terry Tell 'em, where I'm going to respond to one of the questions that was submitted to our Instagram page. All right, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to the More Than Love podcast. We're about to get into a segment that we call Terry Tell 'em, where I'll actually respond to one of the questions that was submitted to our podcast Instagram page. Now, what we got this week, Jay?
So here's the question. So I'm in love with a colleague. We had a thing for almost 3 years. He is a polygamist, despite having a traditional wedding for a second wife. His ex-wife is pregnant and having insurance coverage together. So my dilemma here is he wants me to bear his child, but I want recognition by law like the rest do. What do I do here?
Oh, so he's poly, and he has multiple wives, and she's just a side chick, because she's not his wife, or so she's a side chick that he wants to have a child with, and she wants legal recognition. I don't think you're not gonna be able to do that if she lives in America. I don't know where this woman lives. If she lives somewhere where they have polygamy, obviously she needs to demand marriage before be the requirement to have a child. If that's how you feel about it, if you want to be legally recognized, because the only way to be legally recognized as a wife is to be married. There ain't no such thing as wife benefits. A woman can be unmarried and have a child. A woman doesn't have to be a wife to live with a man or none of that other stuff. So the only way to be recognized by a state as a man's wife is to legally marry him. Like, none of the extra stuff is gonna qualify.
Well, listen, for the people, first of all, I'd say I don't know how important that job is to her. I'm guessing this is a career path for her. If it's something that's a career path, I don't advise getting involved with coworkers here.
Well, she's already involved. She's been smashing them.
Well, she's already involved,
you know what I'm saying?
I say, first of all, I don't advise somebody getting involved because if it's something that's your career. I mean, if you're working, say, McDonald's, Walmart, Target.
I mean, that's easier. I think that's easier said than done.
Different.
I think that's easier said than done for most people that have real careers, because you're around people that are on your level, that you spend more time with them than your family. Right. So if you are compatible or attracted to somebody, it's, that tension usually reveals itself over time. I want to say,
I would say you should be a little above it. And I say what, because the thing is, if things go wrong, if things go south there,
it's risky.
You still have to go to that job every day and see this person, deal with this person every day. So
I mean, there's
here.
There's risk and negatives to it, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think most people can overcome their natural feelings and their desire in those type of situations. Let's switch gears and let's get into the topic of the night. Tonight we are talking about kissing and telling. Basically divulging your sexual experiences with others to friends, family, or in the general public. This is partially in response to the release of the book Judge Discovered by Brittany Renner. Brittany follows me, so that's how I know of her. She's really popular. She got really popular due to fitness, and she's dated some celebrity men. So this is her tell-all book. Now, this is not what I was expecting out of a tell-all book. I was mentally envisioning a Superhead type book, that was released by Corinne Stephens. Yeah. Now this is not like that. Corinne's book was sex stories. I'm putting people on blast. I'm, telling, unique situations.
I think it had more to do with putting people, putting these rappers, professional athletes on blast. I think it had more to do with that.
Right. I mean, well, I wouldn't necessarily say it was on blast. Like, some she gave positive thoughts to, like Lil Wayne. She talked about how much she loved fucking Wayne. And, like, some person's dick was the bomb. And this person was a great pussy eater. Like, she was just giving her thought tales to a degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, this cover book was more, well, based off what I've read so far, it's more of an autobiography where she's expressing her side of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's expressing what it was like with her situations with the men. And so it wasn't like I was expecting it to be, like I said, some hookup sex stories, because Brittany has posted some very, I guess, controversial, ain't really the word. It's just, it's some unflattering things. That she's been so candid and so open. She's really painted herself to a lot of people in a very bad light. For example, I know she has a video up on her page where she was talking about how time that she fucked 3 dudes in a week and got I think she said she got a yeast infection from it or something like that. Like, something that a lot of women probably have done, but you have 5 million followers, you post something like that, you're going to be viewed in a negative light. So simply releasing a tell-all book paints you in a negative light. And this is something else that fits a double standard, because if a man released a tell-all book about a woman, he would be viewed extremely negative and weak by men and women, right?
Absolutely.
I don't think men in general feel about a woman writing a tell-all that it makes her look weak. It's more viewed as you fucked for money. It's like indirect prostitution, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, you telling.
I guess with a woman, I guess to a degree you could say it's a hustle, because Superman had a hustle. With her book, there was a hustle to it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're doing it to make money. Like, you're putting out a book, right? You're doing it for the financial benefit of it. But I the way I look at it, Brittany, just listening to her and following in some of the stuff that she posts, she's very aware. Like, in the book, she refers to herself as an Instagram thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she's not like with this uppity, like, lack of self-awareness. Right. She knows how a lot of people see her. And she's naked on the cover. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she's very aware of what type of reaction it's going to get. You know what I mean? Like, so I personally don't have any issue with it. Like, from what I've read so far, it wasn't anything where like she was like dissing the men or just going in on the guys. She was basically giving a woman's perspective on a dating scenario, and it sounds very similar to what you always hear from women. It's, let me see, where is it at? Yeah, like her when you hear her story, her parents wasn't shit. But her mom and her dad was deadbeats, so she was raised by her grandparents. She was raised in a country town, and so it starts to help you understand, like, damn, I can understand how going from where she's from to being insta famous with millions of followers to making money off of social media and dating and fucking celebrities can kind of push a young woman into a whirlwind. You know what I mean? Like but just reading it, you get a lot of assumptions, right? Like for example, she's saying she's talking about things that they said or did that made her feel insecure. But in her detailing of the scenario or the situations, she's using a lot of assumptions. Like she's saying stuff like, because you didn't care and all you gave a fuck about was this, and like she's making assumptions about what they thought and felt. You know what I mean? Like women typically do when this is what happens in my advice sessions and when my DMs, like women often make assumptions about what a man feels or thinks if he doesn't behave how she wants him to behave, if he don't do what she would have done in a situation, etc. And so there's a lot of that. But I don't really take any fault in that. That's her perspective on it, and that's why I try to get women to understand your feelings ain't facts. Just because you perceive a situation a certain way or a certain situation seemed a certain way to you doesn't mean that that's 100% accurate. You know what I mean? Because there's always multiple perspectives in this type of situation. Now, as far as going public with your sex life, and the whole releasing the tell-all thing, I mean, I'm not famous or I'm not a celebrity or whatnot. I think it's perfectly normal for people to discuss their sex lives with their friends and in their family, like with people that know you personally, like such and such with the big dick or with the curved dick. Like you have all type of stories and stuff with people that you interact with. You know what I'm saying? Like you told your homeboy when you met the chick at the club last week. You told him when you went over her crib, and next time you linked up with him, he asked what happened. Like that's the norm. I think that's people have done that since they were teenagers.
I mean, we talk about those things amongst our friends. I mean, let's just say, we hang out. I'm pretty sure, you go to a homecoming weekend or any kind of cabin event with people you went to college with, you might reminisce on some childhood. Yeah, I remember I used to mess with such and such.
Yeah, I mean,
that chick. Yeah, I remember I met her at this spot, and we went back to my room, and we got and I smashed it, I knocked it down.
Yeah, I mean, you always remember.
That's not uncommon there.
Yeah, it's something that you can always rekindle memories in fun situations with your people. Line brothers, frat brothers, dudes that's on the football team, etc. I'm like that's part of the bonding experience, at least for men anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I know chicks have girl stories too where they had to take one for the team or entertain the lame friend, and while you heard your friend getting her back blown out. Like, everybody got stories and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so that's perfectly fine. But when it's a book and when it's about celebrities, it creates the impression that you're doing it for clout. You're doing it just to get attention, or just because you fucked some famous people. You know what I mean? Because it's not a famous woman that's letting everybody know what other famous dude she's fucked. It's usually a woman that does not have fame or celebrity status that's releasing the tell-all to try to get some coins. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what rubs up most people the wrong way. It causes them to discredit them. It calls them like superhead. Oh, she's just a hoe. She just mad. Like, I mean, she made a couple million out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's made a name for herself. I don't know if that's the name you necessarily want. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's so, when people do select explore what you just said, fame, clout, and attention.
Right, because the one of the things like that I thought about, like I saw one in one of the videos that Brittany put up, it said that she said something like, I've had lots of meaningless sex. Now I want sex to mean something. And so it gives the impression that she wants love and a healthy relationship and all that. And it's like, well, you've just drastically decreased the chances of ever really getting that. You've decreased the chance of men taking you for who you really are. You've
now when everybody just knows, when you have the big down shooting, everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When you
that's what comes with the territory when you write a book like that.
And when you pose naked for the cover, like
exactly,
like if what you were if the goal was to just tell your side of the story, and that you could have had on a cute dress, you could have not portrayed it as a thought tales book, because like I said, that was my expectation. Would be when I bought it, like, oh, okay, this is gonna be like Superhead's book, but it's not. It's more of her explaining how the situation fell apart, how it started with the dots, and some of these dudes, she was actually in relationships with. It wasn't like no fling type of situation. So it could have been presented different, and I think that would have got a much better result. You know what I mean? Like than the reaction that I see now. You know, like. I posted a video on my page where Joe Budden was discussing it on State of the Culture, their TV show on Revolt. So it's been talked about a lot of people, but it's so polarizing because of how it's portrayed. Like the actual content ain't nearly as bad as the perception of the book as a whole. So I mean, overall, it's interesting to see her perspective and where she came from to how she became Insta famous, or got the status that she got with social media. But I thought it was pretty interesting. You know what I mean? Like I'm the last person that can judge somebody for being a hoe or having a high body count. You know what I'm saying? Like I make it very clear I was a hoe for a long time. So I totally get it. Like I totally. Loved hanging out with chicks like Brittany that was down to fuck and down to do different shit. Like I'm off. That's right up my wheelhouse. So I'm not really judgmental of it. But I know how this is going to play out going forward. Like she's never, even if she does something significant, like she's into fitness, people are gonna not remember you for your book. You know what I'm saying? And you have to live with the consequences of your choices and your decisions. So that's kind of the unfortunate part about it. I think she could have gotten her point across, and especially with the massive following that she had, she still would have made money. She still would have been able to tell her truth, to tell her side of the story, but she wouldn't have caused dudes to not view her as date material, to view her as just a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like I think she did herself a disservice with the how it was presented, but overall, I thought it was actually pretty cool so far, based off what I read. I mean, just it's interesting to see how other people feel about this, though. Now we do live in an era where people expose people, on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like now,
right?
And that's something that I do want to give kudos for. She didn't use their real names. You know what I'm saying? Like she changed up the stuff so you don't know exactly who's who. You know what I'm saying? But okay. I don't feel like this was trying to expose them. I felt like this was her trying to tell her side of the story.
And that doesn't sound like this was trying to tell you. It sounded more so she was making it about her and giving her side of the story. Whereas I think with Superhead
was exposing.
It was clearly to expose people.
Because she was going in like such and such had a dildo in his ass. And
right. I mean, it was abundantly clear there.
Yeah, she was using names and all that stuff. Well, I think she named everybody except one Big Papa or something like that. I don't know, that was a long time ago, but yeah, so as far as the tell-alls, like for a celebrity dude, and that comes with the territory. Anything you say, any text you send, you a screenshot away from being exposed. So if you say some fuck shit or do some fuck shit, expect it to get exposed. You know what I mean? Like you can't play naive and rap about flying hoes out of town for money and buying bags and doing fucking other dudes, girls, and all this type of stuff, and then act shocked, surprised when these type of women expose you or you try to extort you or all this type of shit that goes on. You know what I mean? Like, so part of this is on the men for getting themselves in those type of situations. But like I said, from based off reading what she wrote, these were boyfriend girlfriend type situations where they actually were dating. I don't think most people expect somebody they really date to write a tell all about them. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine? I mean, I heard rumors about like Ray J writing a tell all about Whitney and all that, but
right.
his character would have been crucified for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Like
it's just not seeing what it is. It's frowned upon. It's not seen as a masculine trait for a guy that just tell all like that, and they try to expose a woman in a book here.
Right. I mean, like, people make it known when you done smash somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people try to be discreet about it or try to be like, man, that's the past. Like, you try to, but that's different.
I mean, for a guy to just put, somebody's business in airing out dirty laundry like that, I think it's frowned upon for a man to do just because it's not seen as masculine behavior.
It's going to make him look super, super weak. And he's going
to... Because they're going to use makes you look weak, petty.
Yeah, I mean, it also makes you look bitter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it does.
In her book, every story is heartbreak and etc. So there is some bitterness to it. You can tell she was obviously hurt. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, she wouldn't feel the need to have to tell her side of the story and be doing all the stuff that she's doing. You know what I mean? Like, so, and that's how it would look if Nick Cannon wrote a book and was telling all of Mariah's business. You'd be like, man, why you acting like a bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, he would get the wrath of the internet for doing that. But the energy is not the same when it's a woman. Now, there are some people, like I said, that frown upon it or whatnot, but a lot of women like when men get exposed. They like seeing the tables turned or men getting what they deserve. However they view it, there are a lot of women that take pleasure in seeing this type of stuff happens. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, a man, like, for example, a man that's cheating with an Instagram thought can't act like he's shocked or surprised when she video his watch on the nightstand or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
who was that woman few years there was trying to expose Cat Stash.
Oh yeah, Cat Stash.
She was a video / internet celebrity.
Yeah, I remember her. You know, I mean, it's a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they get clout from fucking famous dudes and want people to know who they fucking.
That's what famous dudes are then trying to expose them because that's usually what you like. That's usually their hustle there.
Yeah, I mean it's a dirty game. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to big money and you dating these famous or popular people. You know what I mean? Like it comes with consequences. All it takes is one comment, one like for somebody to screenshot some shit and start putting two and two together to expose your business or your situation. So, I mean, it's always going to create a topic of conversation because people love gossip and we love finding out details of people's sex lives. You know what I mean? Like, so it's always a money maker, especially the more of a celebrity that you're dealing with.
Right. Yeah, they say sex sells.
All right, man. It looks like we are up against the clock. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Those of y'all that are watching, make sure you share the podcast, download the episodes. Those of you that would like to submit a question, make sure you go to our Instagram page, The More Than Love Podcast. Send us a DM. We'll screenshot it, and there's a chance you could get on the show. Jay, man, I appreciate it. It's been another pretty interesting topic. Shout out to Brittany. Wish you the best with the book, and I enjoy what I read so far. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We will catch up with you next time.
All right.